The National Electrical Code, or NEC, does not permit flexible conduit for grounding electrode conductors as outlined in NEC section 250.64. Regarding the connection of transformers using flexible metal conduit, often abbreviated as FMC, while generally acceptable for connecting transformers to their supply and load, specific requirements must be adhered to. Firstly, the FMC must be adequately sized to handle the transformer's current draw. Secondly, the FMC installation must comply with Article 350 of the NEC. Thirdly, an equipment grounding conductor, abbreviated EGC, must be installed within the FMC to provide a path for fault current. In the described scenario, the inspector disapproved the installation due to the use of approximately 4 feet of FMC for both the primary and secondary connections of the transformer. The inspector might have deemed this length excessive, potentially increasing the risk of electrical faults. It's generally considered a best practice to use rigid conduit for connecting to transformers, especially for larger units like the 75 kV transformer mentioned. Rigid conduit provides a more secure and reliable connection, reducing the likelihood of failure. In conclusion, while FMC can be used for transformer connections, adherence to NEC requirements and proper sizing for the application are crucial. The inspector's decision to reject the installation likely stemmed from concerns regarding the FMC length and the heightened risk of faults. Consulting with a qualified electrician or the authority having jurisdiction, abbreviated AHA, is advisable to ensure compliance with all applicable code requirements. Let's delve deeper into the considerations surrounding the use of flexible metal conduit with transformers. The NEC provides guidelines for the proper installation and use of electrical equipment, including transformers. While flexible metal conduit offers flexibility in installations, it's important to understand the specific requirements that govern its application, especially when dealing with power distribution equipment like transformers. Let's first consider the sizing of the flexible metal conduit. The conduit size must be sufficient to accommodate the conductors and ensure proper heat dissipation. Overcrowded conduits can lead to overheating and potential insulation damage, increasing the risk of electrical faults. NEC Article 350 outlines the requirements for the installation of flexible metal conduit, including proper support, secure connections, and limitations on its use in certain environments. It's important to review this article carefully to ensure compliance with the code. The equipment grounding conductor within the flexible metal conduit plays a critical role in providing a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source. This helps to quickly trip the circuit breaker or fuse, minimizing the risk of electrical shock or fire. The size of the equipment grounding conductor must be appropriately sized based on the overcurrent protection device in the circuit, as specified in NEC Table 250.122. Now let's examine the inspector's decision to reject the installation. The inspectors are responsible for enforcing the NEC and ensuring that electrical installations meet safety standards. In this case, the inspector may have had concerns about the length of the flexible metal conduit, the potential for mechanical damage, or the overall reliability of the connection. While the NEC doesn't explicitly prohibit the use of flexible metal conduit for transformer connections, inspectors have the authority to interpret the code and make judgments based on their experience and knowledge. Rigid conduit offers several advantages over flexible metal conduit in transformer connections. It provides better mechanical protection, reduces the risk of damage from physical stress, and offers a more secure and stable connection. Rigid conduit also provides better shielding from electromagnetic interference, which can be important in sensitive electronic equipment. When using rigid conduit, it's important to ensure that it's properly supported and installed in accordance with NEC Article 344. This includes using appropriate fittings, couplings, and supports to maintain the integrity of the raceway system. Consulting with a qualified electrician or the authority having jurisdiction is essential to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. These professionals can provide guidance on the proper installation techniques, material selection, and code interpretation. They can also help to identify potential issues and recommend solutions to ensure a safe and reliable electrical installation. Consider additional factors that might influence the choice between flexible and rigid conduit. Firstly, the accessibility of the transformer. If the transformer is located in a difficult-to-reach area, flexible conduit might offer a more practical solution for making connections. Secondly, the presence of vibrations. In environments where vibrations are present, flexible conduit can help to absorb movement and prevent stress on the connections. Thirdly, the environmental conditions. In corrosive or wet environments, special types of flexible conduit might be required to protect the conductors from damage. Understanding the specific requirements for grounding electrode conductors is crucial for ensuring electrical safety. Grounding electrode conductors connect the electrical system to the earth, providing a path for fault current to dissipate and minimizing the risk of electrical shock. NEC Section 250.64 outlines the requirements for grounding electrode conductors, including their size, material, and installation methods. As mentioned earlier, flexible metal conduit is not permitted for grounding electrode conductors. This is because flexible metal conduit doesn't provide a reliable low-impedance path to ground, which is essential for proper grounding. Instead, grounding electrode conductors must be made of copper, aluminum, or copper-clad aluminum and must be installed in a rigid raceway or directly buried in the earth. The size of the grounding electrode conductor is determined by the size of the service entrance conductors, as specified in NEC Table 250.66. It's important to select the appropriate size grounding electrode conductor to ensure that it can safely carry fault current. When installing grounding electrode conductors, it's important to ensure that they are properly connected to the grounding electrode system. This includes using approved connectors and ensuring that the connections are clean and tight. The grounding electrode system typically consists of one or more grounding electrodes, such as ground rods, ground plates, or metal water pipes. These electrodes provide a direct connection to the earth, allowing fault current to dissipate safely. In addition to grounding electrode conductors, equipment grounding conductors are also essential for electrical safety. Equipment grounding conductors provide a path for fault current to return to the source from non-current carrying metal parts of equipment. This helps to quickly trip the circuit breaker or fuse, minimizing the risk of electrical shock or fire. Equipment grounding conductors must be sized in accordance with NEC Table 250.122 and must be installed in the same raceway as the circuit conductors. When using flexible metal conduit, the equipment grounding conductor must be installed inside the conduit. This ensures that the equipment grounding conductor is protected from mechanical damage and provides a reliable path for fault current. Remember that proper grounding is essential for electrical safety. By understanding the requirements for grounding electrode conductors and equipment grounding conductors, you can help to ensure safe and reliable electrical installation. Let's now discuss the importance of proper transformer installation and maintenance. Transformers are essential components of electrical power distribution systems, and their proper installation and maintenance are critical for ensuring reliable operation and safety. When installing a transformer, it's important to follow the manufacturer's instructions and all applicable codes and regulations. This includes ensuring that the transformer is properly supported, ventilated, and protected from environmental factors. The transformer should be installed in a location that is accessible for maintenance and inspection. It should also be protected from physical damage, such as impact from vehicles or equipment. Proper ventilation is essential for preventing overheating and extending the life of the transformer. The transformer should be installed in a location that allows for adequate airflow around the unit. The ventilation opening should be kept clear of obstructions such as debris or equipment. Regular maintenance is essential for ensuring the continued reliable operation of the transformer. This includes inspecting the transformer for signs of damage such as leaks, corrosion, or overheating. The transformer should also be tested periodically to ensure that it's operating within its specified parameters. The insulation resistance of the transformer windings should be tested regularly to ensure that it's within acceptable limits. Lower insulation resistance can indicate insulation degradation and potential for failure. The transformer oil should also be tested periodically to ensure that it's free from contaminants and has the proper dielectric strength. Contaminated or degraded oil can reduce the transformer's ability to withstand voltage surges and can lead to premature failure. If any problems are detected during inspection or testing, they should be addressed promptly. This might involve repairing or replacing damaged components, cleaning the transformer, or replacing the oil. By following proper installation and maintenance procedures, you can help to ensure the reliable operation and long life of your transformer. Let's consider the specific requirements for NEMA 1 enclosures. NEMA, which stands for National Electrical Manufacturers Association, develops standards for electrical enclosures. NEMA 1 enclosures are intended for indoor use and provide protection against contact with the enclosed equipment. They are not intended to provide protection against water, dust, or other environmental factors. When using a NEMA 1 enclosure, it's important to ensure that it's properly installed and maintained. The enclosure should be securely mounted and all openings should be properly sealed to prevent the entry of dust or debris. The enclosure should also be inspected regularly for signs of damage, such as cracks or corrosion. If the enclosure is damaged, it should be repaired or replaced promptly to maintain its protective function. NEMA enclosures are available in a variety of types, each designed for specific applications and environmental conditions. When selecting a NEMA enclosure, it's important to consider the specific requirements of the application, including the environment, the type of equipment being enclosed, and the level of protection required. For example, NEMA 3R enclosures are designed for outdoor use and provide protection against rain, sleet, and snow. NEMA 4 enclosures are designed for indoor or outdoor use and provide protection against splashing water, hose-directed water, and the entry of solid objects. NEMA 4X enclosures are similar to NEMA 4 enclosures but are constructed of corrosion-resistant materials such as stainless steel or fiberglass. By selecting the appropriate NEMA enclosure for the application, you can help to ensure that the enclosed equipment is properly protected and that the electrical system operates safely and reliably. Remember that electrical safety is paramount. Always follow safe work practices and consult with qualified professionals when working with electrical equipment. It's also important to stay up to date on the latest codes and regulations to ensure compliance and promote a safe working environment. Let's recap the key points discussed. Firstly, flexible metal conduit is not permitted for grounding electrode conductors. Secondly, while flexible metal conduit can be used for transformer connections, it must be properly sized and installed in accordance with the NEC. Thirdly, the inspector's decision to reject the installation was likely based on concerns about the length of the flexible metal conduit and the potential for increased risk of faults. Fourthly, rigid conduit is generally considered a best practice for transformer connections as it provides better mechanical protection and a more reliable connection. Fifthly, consulting with a qualified electrician or the authority having jurisdiction is essential to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. By understanding these key points and following proper installation practices, you can help to ensure a safe and reliable electrical installation. Let's discuss some additional considerations for transformer installations. Firstly, the location of the transformer. The transformer should be located in a well-ventilated area that is protected from environmental factors such as moisture and extreme temperatures. Secondly, the accessibility of the transformer. The transformer should be located in an area that is easily accessible for maintenance and inspection. Thirdly, the grounding of the transformer. The transformer should be properly grounded to provide a path for fault current and minimize the risk of electrical shock. Fourthly, the overcurrent protection of the transformer. The transformer should be protected by an overcurrent protection device such as a circuit breaker or fuse to prevent damage from overload or short circuit. Fifthly, the labeling of the transformer. The transformer should be properly labeled with its voltage kVA rating and other important information. These additional considerations can help to ensure the safe and reliable operation of the transformer. Let's delve into the specific requirements for overcurrent protection of transformers. The NEC provides detailed guidelines for the selection and installation of overcurrent protection devices for transformers. The primary purpose of overcurrent protection is to protect the transformer from damage due to overload or short circuits. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, are designed to interrupt the flow of current when it exceeds a predetermined level. The size of the overcurrent protection device must be selected based on the transformer's kVA rating and voltage. NEC Table 450.3 provides guidance on the maximum allowable overcurrent protection for transformers. It's important to select an overcurrent protection device that is sized appropriately for the transformer to ensure that it provides adequate protection without nuisance tripping. In addition to the primary overcurrent protection, transformers may also require secondary overcurrent protection. Secondary overcurrent protection is typically provided by circuit breakers or fuses located on the secondary side of the transformer. The size of the secondary overcurrent protection device must be selected based on the load served by the transformer. NEC Article 240 provides additional guidance on the requirements for overcurrent protection. When selecting overcurrent protection devices, it's important to consider the interrupting rating of the device. The interrupting rating is the maximum amount of fault current that the device can safely interrupt. The interrupting rating must be greater than the available fault current at the point of installation. It's also important to ensure that the overcurrent protection devices are properly coordinated to prevent cascading failures. Coordination involves selecting overcurrent protection devices with different time current characteristics so that the device closest to the fault will trip first, minimizing the disruption to the electrical system. Proper overcurrent protection is essential for protecting transformers from damage and ensuring the safety of the electrical system. By following the NEC guidelines and selecting appropriate overcurrent protection devices, you can help to prevent costly equipment failures and ensure safe and reliable electrical installation. Finally, let's emphasize the importance of ongoing training and education for electricians and other electrical professionals. The electrical industry is constantly evolving, with new technologies, codes, and regulations being introduced regularly. To stay up to date and maintain their skills, electrical professionals must participate in ongoing training and education. This can include attending seminars, workshops, and online courses. It can also include reading industry publications and participating in professional organizations. By investing in ongoing training and education, electrical professionals can enhance their knowledge, improve their skills, and provide better service to their customers. They can also stay abreast of the latest safety standards and best practices, helping to prevent accidents and ensure a safe working environment.